About half of Ontarians hoping to buy a home in the next 2 years say they are looking for a detached house. But in Toronto, the supply of detached homes is at an all-time low. Of course, that drives up already steep prices. According to an Ipsos poll conducted for the Ontario Real Estate Association, the demand in Toronto is up 21% from last year. So why the jump, and what does that mean if you're in the market for a new home? I'm joined by broker Joe Cicciarella. And Joe, why is it that single-family detached homes remain the gold standard in real estate?
Well, Alan, I think there's a few reasons for that. Most importantly, it's always been something where people have wanted to have their own privacy. So when it comes to purchasing a property where it's basically not attached to anybody, no neighbors, you have the option to, let's say, make noise late in the evening without having any complaints from anybody. Also, when it comes to doing things like renovations, oftentimes when you're living in maybe a semi-detached or a townhouse, the roof may be shared, the driveway, the front steps, for instance, and those things, usually if you plan on upgrading them, you're going to want to consult with your neighbors. When you're in a detached house, you're able to do those things on your own, to your own discretion, and I think people definitely value those things.
So those things are all worth something to buyers, but the reality of the situation is if you want to live in Toronto, or even sometimes really much of the GTA, you might have to change your expectations.
That's exactly right. It really depends on the particular buyer. Oftentimes, certain people may be they may have the option to stay at home with family or friends, or they can rent for a bit longer. But when you have somebody in a particular situation, for instance, where they've sold their property, they're going to have to be a little bit more lenient on what they're looking for if they need to move somewhere and renting isn't an option. So it depends on the particular buyer and their expectations and particular situation. I think that's the most important thing.
With clients, do you find it again and again they start off thinking, yeah, we're going to get a detached home, and then the reality of the situation sets in, and it's either a condo or a semi?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, usually when it comes to buying a detached home, oftentimes we may be able to find someone that particular property they're looking for, but at the same time, you may have 3, 4, 5, sometimes 10 or even 15 other buyers competing for that same property. For that reason, they may not get it. Could happen several times, and then eventually the client may end up saying, you know what, maybe we got to either move outside of the area we're looking in, or we're going to have to change it up and maybe go for a condo, townhouse, or semi-detached, or some other type of property that may not be as high demand and fall within their price range at the same time, which is most important.
Joe Cicciarella, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you.